Yeah? Okay.
They shut this off.
Yeah, that was loud.
Sounds like it's about to go out.
It's running.
That one's not so loud.
What do you want to look at first?
Well, Phyllis is first, but it'll be this one. I got handouts for everybody. Down here.
We're up and live, Ashley.
Okay, we're good?
Yep.
All right. Call to order the Vermillion County Council budget hearings for 2025. These will be for the budget year 2026. The budget hearings are a little more informal than a regular meeting. This gives everyone a chance to meet with department heads or elected officials so that they can discuss their budgets with us. Budget will actually not be adopted until our regular October meeting. So these are only for informational purposes only. There's nothing formally adopted today, except for the Vermillion Township budget. So first up on our schedule, and we will try to stay to our schedules the best as possible. First up today, we have Phyllis Orman from Vermillion Township. We do approve their budget for them. It's kind of a formality, I think, because there's too many firefighters
I have 3
on.
board members, one's a firefighter, one's my brother, so this is the only thing they can't do is approve the budget. They know the budget because we meet, you know, they tell me what to do.
Yes, they've met, they've discussed it, they've approved it amongst their board, so we just have to do the formal for the state. So. Are there any questions for Phyllis? Anybody have, I mean, we do this, I think, every year.
I guess I might just ask, do you know what the percent of increase is?
Not the percent, it's
Okay.
not a big increase. Well, the township assistants and the firefighting budgets, they are the same, they've been the same for several years. I did adjust the general fund a little bit, but it's maybe $3,000 or something.
Okay, so it's a minimal.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead and read then each cumulative line items for each fund. There's an ordinance, a resolution for appropriations and tax rates for the Vermillion Township. The general fund has an adopted budget of $63,300, an adopted tax levy of $38,000 with an adopted tax rate of 0.0454. Fund 840, the Township Assistance, has an adopted budget of $30,300, adopted tax levy of $30,000, and an adopted tax rate of 0.0358. The Fund 1111, Township Fire and EMS, has an adopted budget of $11,100, with an adopted tax levy of $10,000, and an adopted tax rate of 0.0129. Total adopted budget is $104,700. Adopted tax levy is a total of $78,000, and the total adopted tax rate is a total of 0.0941.
What was that again? 0.0?
0.0941. Is there a motion to accept their budget as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept the budget as presented.
You'll adopt it,
Or, yeah,
the October.
Yes.
oh,
This is just public hearing.
okay,
Oh.
so I don't, do I?
You don't have
We
to.
had a public hearing, this has.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is-
it's always been in the past.
You do your public hearing?
Yeah, we do our own public hearing,
They let you do your public?
yeah, we just can't do.
We've always done it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have the ordinance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
I give it to you.
We go down here, we'll do it that way.
Oh, they don't. But they've always wanted to do it that way.
Sorry, I was.
We're just more efficient
It would be more efficient.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion for Mrs. Furry, a second for Mr. Weir to adopt Vermillion Township's budget for a total adopted tax levy of $78,000, an adopted budget of $104,700, and a total adopted tax rate of 0.0941. Any further questions? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed state no. All right, budget's approved. Yeah, I will. Okay, go sign the paperwork.
I will.
Thank you, Phyllis.
It's my turn. So we like to take a few minutes at the beginning of every year's budget hearings to talk about the other half of the equation, because you're gonna spend the next 3 days hearing about how much money people want to spend and deciding how much money they want to spend. But I think it's good that we always sit down and before we start talking about how much we spend, look at how much money we're going to have. So the spreadsheet I've handed you a copy of shows the last 3 years worth of 3 revenue sources: property tax, lit taxes, and miscellaneous state taxes. These are things like gas tax, excise taxes, commercial vehicle excise tax, etc. This makes up 75% of our revenues. These 3 things make up 75% of our revenue. It does not include, we have about 25 million-ish in revenues. It does not include things like grants that we get. We get payments for marriage licenses. We get payments for people who record things, who file things in court. We get investments. It does not include our investment revenues. Our investment revenues are our other biggest source outside of these things. The TIF districts are supposed to bring in about $800,000 next year. That's not included. This is just these 3 things. So first thing is lit. So that's our local income taxes. We have certified shares, public safety, and edit. This is the first year since I've been keeping track of these things, which actually goes back at least 10, 12 years, that the projected lit revenues for the county are going down. I don't know why. Somebody really rich died or something. I don't know why they're projecting them to go down, but they are projected to go down by about 3%. Miscellaneous state taxes are also projected to be to go down. Again, that's our commercial vehicle excise, excise taxes, financial institute taxes, and gas taxes that are, every time we fill up, we pay gas tax. That money goes to the state and gets redistributed back to the cities and counties and towns. So for property tax, what I've used here is this is what's called the max levy. The maximum amount that we can collect from people or ask people to pay us in property tax. If we did the max levy for 2025, we'll talk about, or 2026, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. But if we did the maximum, that'd be $10,338,000. However, we have to subtract from that what's called the circuit breaker. All right, so there's a maximum amount as a property owner that I have to pay in property tax. For a homestead, it is 1% of my assessed value. So no matter what my bill is, I only pay 1% of my assessed value. So a lot of people have a bill that is, maybe it's $1,400, but if their property is assessed at $130,000, they're not going to pay $1,400. They're going to pay $1,300. And so they will get a credit for that $100 that they don't have to pay, which ends up being a loss for the county and the township and school corporation, whoever else. So we are projecting a bigger circuit breaker for next year. These numbers are from DLGF, the circuit breaker projections. It's Sam Van Dievender who does those at DLGF. He used to be our field rep, so we know him. He's a good guy. The reason that they're projecting it to go up is because there are new tax credits that will take effect next year for homesteads, commercial property owners, and so forth. So they're factoring those new tax credits into the circuit breaker. So even though you see, we're gonna see, in theory, we see a 4.4, we could go up to 4.45% growth in property tax. Unfortunately, the circuit breaker is gonna go up by like 30%. So the net property tax collections next year are not gonna be very much higher than they are this year. Overall, you're looking at about 0.5% growth in revenue next year from our biggest three sources. Okay, so let's go to some better news.
What are we looking at now?
Net assessed values for 2026.
Property tax rate, full balance.
CNAP. Yeah. So this is the county's net assessed value for 2026. It actually went up. It's about 4% from where it was last year. So what you see here is a breakdown of where our assessed value lies. 1%, RP 1%, that's our homestead properties. That's your house. We have 251 million of assessed value in homestead properties. 2% RP, real property 2% net AV is 389 million. Okay, that's our biggest. That is commercial properties and farm ground. Now, commercial properties can be the cottage or Angie's. It can also be a rental property or apartment complex, something like that, a second home for somebody, if somebody has a second home. Those are going to be in that 2% range, and they're called 2% because that's where their circuit breaker hits. For our homesteads, it hits at 1%. For commercial properties, that circuit breaker hits at 2%. 3% is industrial, 133 million. So the total real estate is 773 million. Then you start seeing the next things are business personal property. Okay, so personal property is taxed if you have business personal property. At the local level, that amounts to $189 million worth of business personal property. Now, this can be everything from the computers in my office or the cash register in Ron's restaurant to Elanco's big machine that does whatever Elanco's big machine does. I suspect the vast majority of this is probably in things like Elanco and some of our bigger commercial companies and paper company, paper mill, places like that. But it does pick up on just small businesses as well. So that's 189 million. The 219 state personal property. This is personal property that is not really assessed by the state. It's reported to the state. Business property tax, personal property taxes are self-reporting. This would be utilities and railroads. And you can see we have actually quite a bit of state personal property for a county of our size because we have a lot of electric infrastructure in our county. And so all those transformers and those power lines and substations and all those things are taxed as business personal or state personal property. So the total for personal property is 409 million. So it makes up, you know, close to 40% of our assessed value is in personal property. Next two things are our TIF districts. The assessed value within our TIF districts, that doesn't go down to our adjusted net AV, that comes out. So we have 21 million in real estate in TIF districts. We have Clinton City has a TIF district. This is everything, right? This is from one end of the county to the other. It's everything. So Clinton City has a TIF district. The county has a TIF district. The reuse authority has a TIF district. So in some instances, it's capturing personal property. It's also capturing some real estate. So that 45 million or 47 million comes off that gross amount and gives us a net AV of $1.1 billion. Last year it was
$1,085,000,000. So it went up 50 million or so. So about 3.9%, which is good. Now the issue is, while and I've got some numbers I'll share with you in a minute, but our AV has been growing. As our AV grows, as our pie grows, it takes a smaller piece of that pie to fill us up. But the state made some changes in the session this year, and they're going to start to increase the amount of deductions or exemptions that people can take. So for real property, for homestead property, your home, right now, we all get a homestead deduction and a supplemental homestead deduction, depending on some variables. That can be 40% or so, a little over 40% exempt. So if your property, if the assessor comes in and says your property is worth $1 million, you get an exemption. It's really it goes down to $600,000. Okay. Well, that's going to go over the course of the next 5 years or so. That's going to go to 2/3. It's going to go from 40% to 2/3. And business, this 2% property is also going to start to see. It's never had deductions before or exemptions before. It's going to start getting exemptions next year. And those are going to go up to 1/3 of their assessed value. Doesn't all happen at once, but those two numbers are going to start to go down unless we have a home building boom of the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time. Those two numbers are probably going to go down just based on these new exemptions coming into play. The other big factor is going to be business personal property. The state enacted, right now the exemption for business personal property is $80,000. So if I have $100,000 worth of business personal property, I have an $80,000 exemption. So I subtract that 80 from the 100. I'm only paying tax on the 20,000. That 80,000, I can't remember if it goes immediately to 2 million, or if it goes to $1 million on its way. I'm looking just in case he knows, but it's going to 2 million by 2027, which means that small businesses will no longer pay personal property tax. Big businesses still will. The Elanco's, paper mill, places like that, they're still going to pay personal property tax. But the small businesses will not unless they have an extraordinary amount of equipment. So that 1.1 million is likely to be a peak for the county, in my opinion, for a while at least, unless we start to get now. If we get some new assessed value in the county, new homes, new businesses, things like that are not here now, that number will go up. But if everything stays the same, it's going to start to go down, which gets to my next slide, which is this one, projected county property tax rates. Bill, I don't have enough for you, I'm sorry. That's fine. Okay. Can you, so,
Do you want to see it all?
if you could do it that way.
Sure.
I know it's hard for people to see. I'm gonna go through it this way. Now, I have these numbers going back to like 2017. I just chose the last 3 years for you. So the column over here shows the certified net assessed value for the county. And you can see it's gone I got 2024 at the top, and I got 2025. Then I have a couple different options for 2026 down here. They're in red. So in 2024, we had 953 million. Then we went to 185. Then the middle column is how much we taxed, how much our property tax levy was, how much we said we're going to tax people property tax wise in our county. And you can see we went from 9.4 million in 2024. Last year it was 9.8 million. This year we're going to be somewhere probably, depending on what you decide, around 10.3 million. So that number is going to go up. We're getting more property tax money in theory, minus the surface rate. And then over here in the certified rate column, the rate column, that is the rate at which we are taxing people. So as your assessed value goes up, your rate goes down because you have a bigger pie to take your slice from, and you don't need as much of that pie as you normally did. So in 2024, our tax rate was just under $1 per $100 of assessed value, 0.99. It went to 0.91 last year because we saw a lot of growth in our assessed value. We went up almost over $100 million last year in assessed value. I did two options here for 2026. You don't have to decide this today, but if we do the max levy, we do as much as the state says we can do. I should have said that in case you don't remember. If we said we need $12 million in property tax to fund the county, the state says you cannot have that much. There is a thing called the maximum levy. And every year, that number is set by a formula decided at the legislature. It's supposed to be based on inflation and some other variables, but the legislature has overridden that and said, I don't care what the number comes up with, it can't be more than 4%. So for the last 3 years at least, it's been stuck at 4%, even though inflation and things have been higher than that. So if we were to do the maximum levy, we could generate 10.350 in property tax, and our rate would be fractionally higher than it was in 2025.
The 10.3, that's before the circuit breaker loss
That's before the circuit
of
breaker.
almost 900.
That's before the circuit
26,000.
breaker. But the rate is based on
Right.
what you get without the circuit
So
breaker.
we're more like back down to 9.
So the council for the last several years at least has tried to keep the rate from going up. It's tried to keep it steady or going down a little bit. So knowing that that's what you guys have liked to do in the past, I did some projections that if we did 50,000 under the maximum levy, that's this bottom one, $50,000 difference, our rate would go down, very small, but it would go down. It would go down 0.27%. So it's almost staying the same. But you could go to the maximum if you want, and tax rates would go up just a tiny bit, okay? So that's the property tax rate stuff. One more thing. Last one, and this is still a work in progress. So as we started to get these revenue numbers together, I started to go through and look at what impact budgets would have on fund balance, okay? So it's hard to see if you're out in the audience, but we have June 30 cash balances. That's this column here. That's what that fund had, cash and investments, on June 30. It's 31 million total for these. There's other funds that we don't budget for, okay? So this isn't all the county's money, but it's the bulk of it. And we had 31 million. Now, the revenue numbers, I'm still working through those. The ones that don't have numbers in them are ones where I'm afraid I don't have revenue numbers yet, either because I need to meet with somebody to find out what their grant's gonna be this year. There's one I don't know. I think the state may just be late in sending it to us. So that's our revenues. The next column is the budget requested. So this is what I told, and I think there might have been some very last minute changes, but this is the amount of budget that was requested. And then the next to last column is if we were to just take everyone's budget as they presented it and make no changes to it, this is what the projected fund balances would be at the end of 2026 for those funds that I at least have revenue for. So, you know, the ones I don't have revenue for those are invalid. But the ones we do, and that's the majority of them, that would be the balances. And then this final column is just to highlight for you the ones where there's what's the difference going to be? What's our projected difference going to be? If it's in black, that means that the projected fund balance would go up, which means that the projected expenses are less than the projected revenues. The ones that are red are ones where we would be deficit spending. Now, that's okay sometimes. It's up to you to decide that, but it is okay. Look, let me show you the example. If you look at the general fund, for example, that's our biggest fund. It has almost 13 million in it. We're looking at another 11 million in revenue next year. The budget request is 11.3 million. That would mean we decrease the balance. If we gave permission to spend that much money and all that money was spent, the balance would go down by 331,000. But that's something you guys have to decide. Are there things that we need to do that are
But
important?
since the beginning cash balance is June 30th.
Yes.
Would it be even greater of a difference at the end of the
I don't have
2026
enough.
because of the appropriations that have
Yeah.
been approved but not
Yeah, probably.
spent?
Yeah, so this does not include the last 6 months of this year.
So there's
right?
more expensive
You
coming.
make a good point there. I don't have that yet. I didn't have that information, so I had to go off of June 30th.
Because theoretically, anything we've already approved in the budget can be spent. So any remaining balances they have for the rest of the 2025 could be spent.
But again, you know, it's up to you guys. I mean, we don't have to have balance, the budget needs to be balanced in a way. We can't spend more than we have in cash. But we can deficit spend, and we all deficit spend in our lives. I took out a mortgage on my house. I've taken out loans to buy cars. You know, I didn't have the money to buy that car cash, so I borrowed the money and I paid it off over time. It's okay if you have some big expense that you think is needed, and, okay, we're gonna draw down the fund balance a little bit. The ones that we need to watch for, and there's only a couple. Well, there's, I'm not picking on area plan, but I'm gonna pick on area plan. They're the one here that is, you see, they're about 8 down, Plan Commission. Their cash balance at the beginning of June 30th was $2,000, just under $2,000. Their revenues have been about $5,000 in the first 6 months of this year. That's from building permits and such, okay? So next year you assume, okay, they're gonna have maybe they double that over the course of 12 months, so that'd be about 10,000. Their budget request is 25. That, if you were to approve a budget request of 25, that would leave them in theory with a negative fund balance of 13,000. We don't want negative fund balances. That's a real problem. The other ones that are negative are ones I don't have revenue for yet, so they're probably not that bad. But you also want to look at these ones that have a big difference in the current balance versus the deficit. So CCD, it's right under Plan Commission, right? It has a cash balance of $483,000 as of June 30th. It's going to have about $208,000 in revenue next year. The budget request is $537,000, more than double the revenue. So you can do it. It can be done. It can be done one more year, maybe. But after that, something's going to have to give because that fund will go negative as well. So
What's Central Public
that
Defender?
I don't have the revenue number.
Okay,
that's
that's the reason why that's,
It's a cash in, cash out, so it should be okay. I just don't have that. I haven't had a chance to talk to Mike about what their budget is, but basically that is a money in, money out one. Like the STOP grant, they get a grant almost every year for like $100,000. I don't know the exact amount yet. They'll probably be able to tell me that when we talk to them.
Well, that's reimbursable.
It's,
So-
yes, I'm not worried about that one.
No.
CCD's a problem. Plan Commission is a problem. It's a small budget, but it is a negative fund balance, and the deficit is high. 911 emergency telephone system. Now, it still has a good fund balance, but we are spending more every year there than we are bringing in, and we've been doing that for a while. That number will probably be higher because it doesn't include the last 6 months of this year, so it'll probably be worse than what it looks there. But in theory, they're still going to end next year with $1 million, which, okay, that's good. They still have $1 million, but we're spending $200,000 more a year than we're bringing in, and at some point, something will give. I noticed one of the assessment funds was kind of bad. Yeah, reassessment compared to its balance. You know, the budget request is high compared to the revenue. Now, again, there may be, hey, this is a big year for us. This is our once every decade year we have to do this, and so this is the year where we have to spend the money, and the next several years won't be as bad. Those are questions you guys can ask of the department heads if they come in, or maybe they'll tell us about it. So, yeah. So that's our fund. Now, I will say, if we go into Gateway and we put in things and they come back with a negative in this column, it's a problem for Gateway, it's a problem for DLGF.
Yeah.
So we do have to fix those things at some point. They won't work. But you can spend more than you bring in. It's up to you guys. So that's how we've got balances, that's part of the reason you have balances. You build them up by spending less than you bring in, but you save that for days when you need it. And sometimes you decide this is one of the days when we need it or not. So that's the revenue numbers.
Scott, on the drainage maintenance fund, which would be legal drains and maintenance, is that strictly revenue generated by those adjoining?
I assume so. I need to talk to Ron about that. I was trying to work on these over the weekend, and we had almost no revenue into it for 6 months of the year. There's a little bit of interest, but I'm assuming that whatever he's asked for is something we would assess to those property owners. So
I just didn't know if that was in place, if that's.
I hope so. I don't know.
I mean, if it's not, if it doesn't generate that kind of revenue, you really can't apply
No.
some number to
No,
it.
it's only bringing in it's not bringing in anything other than some interest. It's the only thing it's bringing in. I remember what.
So if it, just on that one, for example, if the council was to approve the request, then that money would come from other sources?
It's gonna have to.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the cash isn't there, so. And like, there's, like, one of these is local public health, right here, it's right under the west side. That one is, last year they got a big grant from the state. The state started this new program, started last year, we're gonna give a bunch of money to health departments. Yeah, they changed their mind this year. So, I don't know, I need to talk, I know Wendy knows that money is gonna be less. For next year, and you can see she's only asked for 186,000, so I'm assuming that's probably what she's projecting they're going to get in grant. But I just didn't; those are things I don't have information on. The one that I had emailed Misty about, of course Misty's not here, is DOC reimbursement. That's money we get from the state for housing level 6 felony inmates at the county jail. We usually get 100 to 150,000 a year. The first 6 months of this year, we got nothing. I don't know if that's, now I read some stories about the state had fallen behind on reimbursing places, and so I don't know what's going on with that. I need to look at the revenue numbers to see if they've gone ahead and gotten caught up yet. But the rest of these are based on, like the general fund is a combination of property tax, property taxes, excise taxes, CVET, and other miscellaneous revenue the county generates from things like building, marriage licenses, court filing fees, interest income on our investments and things like that. So I'm generally more conservative about projecting those things. The Fed there's prognosticators think the Fed's going to lower interest rates. You may have heard that. We all think that's great if you're trying to borrow money, but if you have money invested, that will be bad or bad. It's just not going to be as much interest paid out to us. So in anticipation that might happen, I don't think we can rely on getting the same or more next year. I think you have to be prudent and think it's going to be down. So.
And if I could make a note on the fund numbers, these are the state
Those are DLGF fund numbers.
so they don't match our fund numbers.
Yeah. So it gets.
So,
I have a
yeah.
key somewhere that we can
Yeah.
pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
it
it's
complicated.
crazy.
So all right. Talk a lot.
But it's important.
Pardon?
You talk a lot, but it's very important.
Oh yeah. Well, it's. I mean, you know, it's
It's all very
It's very easy to, it's hard to, how do you decide whether somebody should have money or not? It's hard. I mean,
Tell
but
us
it's
as much
how
as
much
you
money you
need.
have and what your revenue is going to be.
The more information, the better.
Yeah.
I'll update that last one. Once we have, you guys have made final decisions budget-wise, and those are put into Gateway, I'll start to be able to project into year balances better, and then actual balances next year projected. Oh, and Lit's going away too. Not going away, but you'll have a chance to change.
I like how you said the state made some changes.
Yeah.
They made a lot.
They made a lot of changes.
This year is the last, this is the closest this is close to normal. The only big difference next year is these new tax credits for homesteads, and I think 2% are getting too. So we should all, our property tax bills will get a credit next year, which is good, right? Okay. But it also cuts into what we're gonna get. So, if it was just that, it'd be okay, but it's a lot more.
Thank you, Scott. application. Thank you.
I think I have to talk more to them.
You need let's go.
Allocation funds.
Yep.
Got any PowerPoint?
No, I got handouts. So I emailed these to Misty. I was late getting to her. They were over here this morning. Let's see what I got here.
So,
We don't have
Yeah.
those, do we?
Certified share.
no.
I don't have a bunch of them though. How many do I have?
What's the comment about lit again?
Lit.
The changes to lit?
So lit, Jason, this is what Jason came and talks about. Right now,
Is
we
the
have,
July meeting.
we have certified shares, we have public safety, and we have edits. 2028, those all go away, okay, and they're replaced by new options. And those new options are, there's a county rate, there's a municipal rate that would go to like Dana and Newport and Fairview. There's one for fire and EMS. There's a sort of a new menu to pick from. It's like we're getting rid, one way to look at it is, you know, this is our, we all looked at the menu this morning. Menu's changing. We're still have food, but you're gonna pick from different options to get
That's what I was
calories.
making sure I understood. Yeah, it wasn't really going away.
It's
just
not going
changing.
away,
Yeah.
but you will have to vote in 2027 on how and what you want to replace that
And
with.
in addition to that, there were no, there weren't any automatic distributions from the counties, right? Like the towns and cities had to coordinate or manage that on their own.
Yeah, there will be no, you will have to decide how much, you will be deciding how much tax the county, the cities and towns get, except for the city of Clinton, because that's big enough to have its own rate. Although, whether it wants to or not, it's.
Grab some of those mints off of Ron's desk. Please.
So, I don't know if there were enough of those to go around, and I don't have a copy in front of me, so,
Yeah, do you want to look at it? I'll share. I can share.
so these are, I know they don't look like your other stuff, because I did them, and some of them went over the back. This is the proposed budgets for redevelopment and the two allocation funds. The allocation funds are, allocation fund number 1 is the White Construction TIF District. Allocation fund number 2 is the Elanco TIF District. This got a little cut off, unfortunately. But allocation fund number 1 has revenues of about $275,000 a year. It has a cash balance of $459,000. The request is to have a budget of $150,000 for next year out of there.
175.
The other one is, this is the Elanco one. It has a balance of about $666,000. It has, gonna have projected revenues next year of about $600,000 as well. The budget request is $419,000. The biggest thing that Redevelopment is working on is the project to convert Marine Pilot Elementary into a child care center. So the expenses are geared towards paying for services related to that, including things like the electric bill out there and the water bill out there and stuff like that. And I had some help in going through our bills. We didn't know how much for sure it was going to be. We've been paying those bills all year. As the year's gone on, we've started to determine how much things are going to cost us. So that's basically the utilities out there. We also, see here in the green one, we have a bond payment that's going to start being paid next year, $303,000. So we'll pay it in January, and then we'll pay it we're paying in July next year, excuse me, and then we'll start paying it twice a year. It is structured in a way, though, that bond payments are less than the revenues by, I think that when everything, Elanco didn't bring a bunch of equipment in all at once, it's bringing it in over several years. So the amounts are they went up from last year, they're going up again next year, they're gonna go up to 800,000 in revenue or something like that. Or maybe it's 600 next year, then 800. Anyway, the growth of the revenues will match the growth in the bond payments. And when it maxes out, I think it will be 700,000 more in revenue than we will be in bond payments. So, which is good. So those budgets, and we're you know, we've also been paying for BCS Consulting to help us with some marketing stuff and advisory stuff, especially with the I-74 TIF district. The I-74 TIF district was just created earlier this year, so it doesn't have any revenues yet, so we don't have a budget for it yet. But they've been helping us with that, and so we've been paying for that, as well as architects and you know, like the fire. We had to get new fire alarms out there, stuff like that at Ernie Cloud. So that's a lot of that. The budget for redevelopment, that's the gray one at the top. That comes out, that does not come out of allocation fund money, that's TIF money. That comes out of what's right now economic development income tax money. That's Fund 1149. So the biggest change there from last year is we're asking for more money for demolitions. We have found that demolitions are very expensive because the buildings we're demolishing are problem children. They're all properties that have been in tax sale for many years, in some cases 10, 15 years, and they're just sitting there falling down. Nobody buys them at tax sale. We get them, and we have environmental problems. They got asbestos in them, they have lead-based paint in them, they've got tanks underground somewhere. We tore down a couple big buildings in Cayuga. We tore down one earlier this year. That was very expensive though, because it was going to fall down anyway, but we were afraid it was going to fall down on top of the bank. And it also had some asbestos in it. So these things get expensive. We have been seeking grants. In fact, we had somebody was here 2 weeks ago to look at some of these buildings so we can try and get some EPA money to help us with some of these demolition costs. We did get a grant to tear down some properties in Dana. If you come into Dana from the south, just across the railroad tracks on the right-hand side, there's a building that's got an Ernie Powell mural on it. That's how I always think of it. It used to be a laundromat, and it's already started to fall. And so we did get a grant from Okra last month. We found out that we'll pay for about 75% to 80% of the cost of tearing down.
It's huge, because those were expensive to tear
Yeah,
down.
and they have environmental issues. There's a couple other buildings that are going to come down too with it. So redevelopment is asking for some more money for demos next year in anticipation of trying to do more demos. Make Kelly happy. Because we spent all our money this year and our money from last year, from 2024 and 2025, we spent basically all that to tear down that one building in Cayuga. So I don't know what to compare. It's like having to pay for somebody to sit in jail. I mean, it just sucks. You know, we're stuck with these orphan properties, and but that's the budget request.
Well, the asbestos, just
Or yeah,
Cleanup
that's, I
is
mean,
just horrible to pick.
Nobody's going to do anything with the owners or abandon them. Nobody knows where they're at. They're not around here. Gone.
But
Some of them have gone through tax sale. Some of them have gone through tax sale, been bought at tax sale. The people who buy them at tax sale go, oh no, too much, too big of a problem, and then they walk away from it, and they go back into the tax sale. So there's this one across the street here. It's actually not. It's one of the better ones we own on the corner.
Does that have asbestos in it? Because I was looking through the windows a few minutes ago on the way in.
Just don't have the floor.
Huh?
Doesn't have the floor.
Yeah, I kind of just peeked my into there and looked.
Somebody can still buy it if they want it.
Yeah, we tried to sell. I mean, nobody. We'll give them away if somebody wants them, but nobody, because it's in.
Start your own business.
That's right.
They have a negative value.
Craig Law.
Yeah. Make a great impression on people.
Rent the apartments out upstairs.
All right.
I don't have another copy. Oh, when I get it back. Oh, what did I do with this?
It's too early for you to be losing it. It's okay, when you find it, there you go. Oh, she made coffee.
I paid it extra.
The economic, then this is, I think this is economic development budget. That's a hard one, because as of this minute, we don't really have economic development.
But redevelopment does come out of the economic.
Redevelopment comes out of that same fund. That's 1149.
So that was the gray box on the first sheet.
So what this budget is just based on what we have been spending this year on some stuff out there. And things like, there's a copier that I think I'm using now, actually. The auditor's office is using now. There's some contracts, there's some utilities, I think. I can't remember all of what's on there. That's one we're probably going to have to adjust depending on.
You have an extra one there? Well, she like print the exact amounts. You short some?
I think so.
We're short two.
No, I got extra more copies.
Thank you.
So, that may, I have advertised that higher, but it may be one we have to fix through additional appropriation, depending on what you, or not, depending on what you decide to do as far as economic development goes and the commissioners decide and so forth. So, there's plenty of cash in that fund. It's got like 1.6 million, and it's gonna bring in 400 some thousand next year. So it actually does pretty well financially, but
Is that one of the ones that's going away?
Yes.
yeah, it'll go away. That source of revenue
Yes.
will go away. So,
Do we know yet if the revenues stay where they are after they go away?
I don't know, they have not, if there has
Oh,
been
you mean
anything
like fund
about that, I've
Yeah,
just-
the fund balances stay there,
Yeah.
you just have to spend it out of there for what it was
Well, you know,
actually designed for.
and certified shares can be spent on anything, so it really doesn't
Right.
matter. The public safety is the one that will be a question there about that one.
Okay.
And what happens to leftover public safety money
Yeah.
once the legislature, I talked to some other people who told me the legislature's gonna have to come in and fix some stuff with that, because, for example, we are paying our jail bonds out of public safety right now. And so, obviously, we're gonna need to continue to pay those bonds, and so they need to fix some things with how some of that works. And I think there's been some people who are particularly upset about the loss of public safety tax, because so many places use that for, and it's dedicated towards police and fire, and they hate to lose that. So, we'll see. They still have, that does not take effect until
27.
27. We'll have to decide in 27.
I mean, they at least gave us a year
Yeah.
between property tax and local income
Got a whole
tax.
year to figure
So
it out.
like remnants of the old system won't hang around till those are satisfied, paid, or?
Well, that's the question, is how do we deal with commitments that have been made, pledges that have been made to pay for this out of, and they put some language in the bills that they passed that say that this doesn't affect any obligations, but then there's other language that says that if you don't vote you'll have to vote every year on the lid too, by the way. So every year you will have, the council will have to decide what the lid is. Right now, we can change the lid, but we don't have, we have to affirmatively decide to change something. If you just don't do anything, it stays the same. In the future, we'll have to vote every year.
Same for towns, cities?
Yeah, and the towns won't have an option. They'll have to, every year, you'll have to decide how much are we gonna do to get Fairview money, split money. So, the council will have to decide that. So, there's been some discussion about that, because there's language in one part of the statutes say that, well, we'll make sure our bonds are paid, but there's another part that says if you don't pass something, then there is no lit. So in other words, if the council were just, I don't know, everyone got sick, or you decided we're not gonna do lit next year, or you blow a deadline, there is no lit.
Whereas previously, if the council said no more lit, there would be remnants hanging around until.
Well, there's
you
still
couldn't get-
remnants.
It just reverts back to the prior year like budget.
Yeah, it gets defaults back.
But I mean, I was just saying that in the old system, if we decided that we didn't want it anymore, you couldn't get rid of it totally until the debts were satisfied. That you-
Oh, I see.
Unless you found a different way to pay for it.
So that's, and then I guess I should have had you.
Because you can't cause someone to
Bring a couple
default.
extra.
Yeah, there's one more here. This is, oh, I guess I can take that one.
Yep. Like I was saying.
There's also a very small budget that was, there, and again, we don't have anybody doing this right now, so we don't have to do this budget or not, I don't care, that's up to you guys. Economic Development had started a small revolving loan fund program back when Dylan Riggin was in there, and they loaned out, they had a grant from, I may be messing this up because I was only heard about it. They got $100,000 or $200,000 from rural development, and then the idea was they would help by making loans to small businesses for $10,000, $5,000, $7,000, whatever dollars. They did that. That money, I think, is pretty much all out on the street, and they do get payments. People do pay on those loans, not everybody, but last I knew, there were a few people in default, but there were people who were paying. I looked, I think they were, let me pull up that other sheet. I think they brought in about 10,000 in payments in the first 6 months of this year, maybe 5. But 5 or 10, because then it went to, you double it for the rest of the year. So they do bring in some revenue, and they do have a balance there. And I think when Amanda Heber was in there, and did this budget last year, she had visions of kind of continuing to do that, but that was the idea, is, you know, this money would just perpetually be revolved around and loaned out. So there is a budget for that for next year. None of it's been spent this year. It was budgeted, and it probably won't be, but if you chose to, we could do that. Again, it's kind of tricky to budget for something that right now doesn't exist. But we went ahead and did a little budget for it.
The economic development sheet's the same on both sides,
Yeah.
is that right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yes,
it is. Yes, it
Because
is.
when I copied it in there, I thought it was two-sided, then I'm like, why is it like that?
Oh,
I think that's why you were short on numbers.
Oh,
I think
she
she,
probably
I
ran it, yeah, they ran it with the
Yeah.
other side. Okay. That's what-
so,
That makes sense.
I got it.
I was like,
I thought it was redevelopment. I didn't even try it.
you know. My second time I copied it, I realized she. It's all good, we all got it,
Still one sheet.
Somebody else's turn.
thanks.
All right.
Where's the schedule?
Well,
I scheduled that date.
I left mine on my desk.
was that all for redevelopment?
I hope so.
Okay. So we're ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you have
And she's here.
board members coming for APC?
Of course I did.
Okay. So would you like to go ahead and do yours?
Sure,
Okay.
you're ready.
Yep. All right, we'll move on to APC BZA.
Penny Carpenter, Vermillion County Area Plan Executive Director, on behalf of APC and BZA. The only increase I have on my budget is a raise for 2026. Otherwise, everything stays the same as 2025. This was approved during our June meeting by the Area Plan Commission.
On the board members, have they not turned in their like reimbursement for this year?
The board members? We don't do that until the last, for per diem, or for their
their
meetings.
meetings.
We do it the last month of the year.
Okay. All for the whole year at one time?
Mhm.
Okay.
I thought we changed that to have it done monthly.
I know we talked about, did we put it in the salary? Here we go.
You have to sell it.
I do. Didn't look at it for that, but. It doesn't specifically
It
say.
doesn't say.
I know we talked about it, but
It wasn't put in there.
it's not on it.
Okay.
I mean, ours is pretty sad. You know, there are no surprises. We're gonna meet 12 meetings. We know that. I could see maybe twice a year, but I can't see doing it every month. That's a lot of paperwork for the auditor's office for $60.
Okay. Bigger tabs. All right, the next one,
So is that something you want us to talk about as far as how we're paying them?
I mean,
Monthly's too often.
I don't really do for $60, and I've got,
so you just keep track of how many they attended and then
Yes.
just pay it out
I think the school boards do them twice a year.
Twice
twice a year?
I mean, and that
That's
would be a
reasonable.
problem. I know my members like it at the end of the year, you know.
It's like a bonus, Christmas bonus.
For Christmas money. But whatever works is fine with me, because it is the set amount, and right now we're meeting every month, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. We got a lot going on.
I mean,
If there's no questions on my regular budget, or on my area plan budget,
General.
thank you. The 20052 fund, which is where my professional fees come out of, which is the fund Scott was talking about earlier. So up until recently, I've had a running balance on this account, but in this last 2 years, we have updated the UDO, and, been forced to hire outside attorney. So we've spent more money than we have, in the last 2 years, we've spent more money than we've spent since I've been in the office, since 2011. So, so I left it the same as the 25,000 as the year prior. I would hope not to spend that, but we still have the CO2 stuff going on. We still have, there's still a lot going on. But
That was,
Yeah, there's not gonna be money.
Yeah,
So that-
well,
that's-
I've got it, unless my figures are wrong, I've got the unexpended balance as of July 31st, so it's a little different, at 3794 in the budget. And I had a fund balance as of July 31st of $1,573. So we're negative this year.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, you'll get some permit money in the last part of the
Sure.
year.
Right.
absolutely,
Right.
but it's not, I'm not gonna get that
There's
much.
not gonna be, I don't know, that-
3,000 or 2,000, actually, I had it like negative $2,000.
I mean, that was the idea, you wanted to spend that to hire somebody to help. with the
Right.
UDO.
Right, which we did, and we're very pleased. Clinton City's happy with the UDO as well. We got the new maps, where everyone's happy with that. Just growing pains.
This is originally building permits, and I'm just gonna say, if, when I look in the Commissioner's Court where the building inspector is being paid, it's more in line with what income is in this. So a thought process might be to take what she needs and put it in the general fund and give this to the building inspector, just food for thought.
professional services and fees in the general fund. Like I had a note last year, we paid the attorney out of that line. So it's,
So I have that in two different, I have it in my air, hold on. In my 0124, I have,
yeah.
professional fees.
Mhm.
That pays our actual attorney that represents area plan.
Okay. So the attorney fees aren't coming out of the 25,000 in the area plan fund.
The attorney we hired out of Fort Wayne, Robert Earhart, is coming out of that under professional fees.
In which fund? The general fund or the APC fund?
APC fund, the 0052.
So we have two
Yes,
attorneys?
0052, there we go.
Okay.
But their regularly scheduled attorney is out of the
So
general.
there's two attorneys.
Correct.
Okay, that's, thank you.
Yes.
The 42,869 for 2024 expended was due to the creation of the unified ordinance, is that right? The money that was
That was spent when?
2024 expended,
Yes,
and that's complete now
that is complete, yes,
and functioning, everybody's using it and whatnot.
yes.
It doesn't need any more work.
We're looking at making an amendment to it, but
what?
it's a living document, there's always gonna be stuff going on with it.
Amendment for what?
But it wouldn't be a large amount like that.
Like what amendment for what?
We're looking at, the big issue that's come before us and how is, right now we have only one residence per parcel, one primary residence. We're having people who have let's say 5 acres, it can't be split again because it's already been split the number of times it can be legally split. Want to put a mother-in-law suite on, or a place for mom to live on their property, or we have it, the zoning ordinance says one primary residence per parcel. So that's come up like 3 times in the last month. So that's something we're gonna need to look at. As people are getting older, they're wanting their, and if they have the room for the septic and everything that's required.
Does that require an attorney to go over all that, or is it something that the board can handle on their own?
The board plus we'll review, with Brad Johnson, who helped us do the ordinance.
You're comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
25,000 then?
Do what?
25,000 is
Oh,
a
yes.
comfortable number for
I'd hope not to even spend that.
There's not 25,000.
There's,
Right,
there's,
we'll
It's
have-
gonna be more like 5.
right, that's gonna be there from us contributing to it, from what comes from area plan. Now, what we can get from general fund, commissioners, donation cups, I don't know. But any other questions for me?
Anything else? No? Thank you.
Spin out of the building.
Oh, I think it's in the commissioner's court. Would you have that fund balance last? Okay.
And that was as of 7/31, not 6/30.
Well, I had her print the fund balances, but I don't think it includes investments, so. Mine's
It does not,
I know.
it does not.
Yes,
But there's no,
I didn't figure she was.
unless they've changed it since.
Hey, Justin. On the fund balance report that I had Misty run for me, I assume that doesn't include the investments on it. Is there a way to run a report with the fund balances that includes the investments?
I can give you the investment balance for you, but I don't know if I can have one.
I've got them as of June 30th.
Okay,
And they're different.
That was on the sheet
I'll
you
tell
gave
you
us, right?
that they're different.
Pardon me?
from
Wasn't that on that
June
sheet?
30th, The investment.
Should have been.
I can give
Included,
you the
should have
balance
included
of the
investments.
investments for each fund that is invested. There's only 5 funds, maybe 6
Okay, so
funds
there's
that's
only-
invested.
That spreadsheet that I handed out
Mhm.
that had the projected balances,
uh-huh,
the June 30th column there does include cash and investments.
okay.
The
June 30th, if that helps. I mean, if you're looking at
So
different dates.
which funds do have investments?
Yeah, that would be easy.
auditors and eligibles invested, the assessors, human reassessment,
Okay,
drainage and maintenance, I think.
Yes, it is.
The surveyors in there too, surveyors,
perpetuation?
Yeah, that is Surveyor Corner Perpetuation Fund.
yeah. Let me just go get it.
I think economic development might be.
Yes.
Yes, economic development.
My.
What was we looking at? South,
It's not.
This one.
Oh, it's that, well, it doesn't, it's the projected, fund balances that are projected. But it doesn't show, it just shows cash and investments in that, it should just be showing cash and investments total. Investment register, I got it, I found it. Economic development has,
Well, if your balance includes it, I just didn't know which ones, like when we look individually.
economic development,
Oh,
health,
okay.
Surveyor's Corner perpetuation has a little bit of drainage. Cume reassessment has $1 million invested. It did. That was the only ones.
auditor doesn't have any?
Not
The
on the report
auditor's
they sent me.
ineligible.
Not on the report they sent me.
Okay.
And maybe they missed a few.
Oh.
This was from June 1st, or January 1st to June 30th. So they may have missed it. It's not a very, I wish that system's always been a problem.
Mhm.
So they have to manually like send me this report of what's invested, so. FEMA assessment had $1 million. Drainage. Hood pile drain had 23,000. Surveyor's corner perpetuation had 106. Health had 150. Economic development had 550.
There's 5.
And then you say corner?
Corner perpetuation,
What's that one got?
106.
So that's the same as surveyor,
Surveyor's corner perpetuation.
and drainage is 20.
Yeah, now I could have been, like I said,
But those are included in your balances on your sheet.
they should be, hopefully,
They are.
if I did it right. but- Now that I'm on the spot, I would.
Yeah.
Like, you could have been alphabetical order instead of fund number.
It's not even the right fund number.
When I pulled up on DLGF, that's how it does.
So I was like, wait, it's not in alphabetical order, where'd you go? But it's in fund, the numbers.
Mhm.
I got you.
Yeah. So when it pulls that info on DLGF, in theory, I could sort it
Let's
out.
see here.
That's also good.
Beginning balance.
Yeah.
Here's 947. Economic development, we started at $1 million. So that was the investment.
This one
This
doesn't.
does not.
I started to look at that and I was like, I know some of these are wrong.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
But I didn't know which ones. Yeah, sure. The fund. Tourism. I think it has investments.
Lunch?
Oh,
I don't know.
well,
I had too much time allocated.
Let's see if somebody wants to come in. From the courthouse?
You see veterans, she's here.
Let's see if veterans.
Is Aini here?
if Heidi wants to come up.
Please.
Courthouse next, don't we?
Please. No, that one's wrong. This is the new one.
Well, I can get that one.
You're not special.
Is she gonna check on people for the rest of today's schedule, parks and veterans?
I imagine the parks will have to keep in case somebody from their board comes in.
Jenny, do you have another schedule?
She's
New
gonna see if
schedule?
I need here for veterans.
Jeff didn't seem to get
So
one.
she can come in.
Don't either.
Thank you.
How many total funds do we have? 115, something like that, isn't it? There's a
I
lot.
don't know, I've never counted. I think we budget for like, I want to say.
Because a lot of them
55 or
have
something.
money like that we, for a specific purpose, like just little bits of,
Yeah. Like the highway has that.
it's like we can't touch them. Because they have to be used for certain things. I think the health department has one. So,
The highway had a rainy day fund. The highway had a rainy day fund.
the highway?
Yeah. I'm like, what is that? It's got like $3,000 if I. There.
Oh,
Scott. Our fund number 1303, rainy day restricted MBH. $3,300.
Don't know anything about it. I mean, I can guess. It's so good. I assume they set up a rainy day fund at
it
some
has to be
point.
at least 10 years old because, yeah, I've never,
Thank you.
Yeah, there's probably about 100 and some funds.
I mean, there's several. That was just one that
yeah, some of them just have
popped
like
out.
random little bits of money. sitting
Yes,
in
there are a lot of little things. We closed some
Yeah,
a few
where did
years
that,
ago.
what is that? No, was one I had a question on too.
2,500. Scott? Probation administration.
I don't know what that is. That's got a lot of money in it.
Where is this stuff?
That has a lot of money in it.
Yes, it does.
It brings in money.
But it has no expenditures.
It has no expenses.
No, no budget.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I still have that one too. I didn't know what that.
That's a great, I mean, my guess is it's been sitting there bringing in money for years and nobody's ever spent it. It may be a statutory, probably a statutory thing. So I saw some problems.
Be nice to know what we could spend it on.
Let's see. It doesn't get much per year, but.
We did have
I do
that.
have this.
We did?
We did not.
We did not.
It's the same.
There's another one I have questions on.
And we do collect money in other spots from probation user fees and stuff like that, so I don't know what's the difference between that cash and.
Okay, I have this, Scott, that I printed.
Oh, yeah. Is it on there anywhere, you think?
Well, on here, 2,500 is, county user fee, IC code 33-37-85. I don't know if that's the same as our 2,500, but I think it would be worth looking into.
Oh, the IC codes for
Yeah.
each one?
Yeah, it shows the IC code, so it'll tell us
Where'd you get that at?
it's off the internet,
Oh,
I found it somewhere.
what do you know? Thank you.
I highlight, that's what's,
off indiana.gov.
that's what's intro investor as of right now,
Okay.
and that's, each fund.
Just the tourism, the visitors and tourism, they don't have any investments? No.
And she'll be up, she's on a call with the veteran spouse
Okay.
about a funeral benefit, and she'll be up.
Thanks, Justin. So yeah, the five that have, right, 1, 2, 3, 6. The 6 that have investments are economic development,
I know it.
health, the CUME reassessment, auditors, ineligible deductions, surveyors, corner perpetuation, and the drainage maintenance for the hood pile drain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I need a bigger table. We just.
Mr. Monroe,
No, you're
Sorry to whoever's listening. My papers are probably rustling in the.
no, we're good.
If anybody wants to take a break, well, while we wait.
Is there anybody else on the schedule?
Health, or the veterans lady's coming up. When she gets off the phone.
Hey, Scott. On the fund balances, I noticed that we have 7330, 7331, and 7332, lit certified shares, lit public safety, and lit edit. But then we have,
Those are the clearinghouse funds.
okay,
All the cash comes in there.
and then it gets put into the
Yeah, and then it gets distributed out.
9103. Okay,
So then the county takes it and moves it to its fund, and then it sends the payments to Dana and Clinton and
Gotcha.
places out of there. So they're
those are the clear.
like a
Okay,
payroll fund. It just-
that makes more sense. Thank you. Or gets lost.
Carpet looks good.
Look at this, Tony did a good job. Not as bad as it did the first few days.
For me one time.
It was bad. I mean, people lived with
You know
headaches.
what kind of carpet I got in my house?
Because they did it on a Friday, and they closed it up, and everybody
Annie.
went home.
You can come on up.
My first time, so be gentle.
No.
I was over there waiting.
So, thanks for coming in early. Okay. This is just kind of time where you can talk to us about your request, and then no decisions will be made on the budget yet. It's just kind of more for informational purposes. We don't actually formally adopt our budget until our October meeting.
Okay.
So do you have any increases for this year?
Oh, or for next year?
Yeah.
No. Well, yes, I didn't know it was this formal, so I'm sorry, I am not prepared.
You're okay. I know,
We're not that formal.
no, we're really not.
Yeah, but I'm unprepared, I'm not liking this, so, sorry.
You're fine.
I do have an increase, but nothing of significance. I believe it's like the 2 or 3% increase on salary. And I think that was about the gist of it.
Yeah, like our sheets show 3% on the service officer line item, and then an increase in part-time help. Some other things were kind of moved around there. The flags, it says requested budget 0.
And yeah, that's news to me.
Okay. Is that not supposed to be 0?
No, the only thing that changed really was, the 3%.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't know what we did. Thank you.
Postage went down too, which usually there's increases for postage each year.
Well, postage went down, but telephone went up
Right.
by the same amount.
Like this, I don't need.
Okay, so nothing on part-time sheet?
Yeah, nothing on that.
Nothing on part-time?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Um,
They're not wanting a part-time position?
No, because the vehicle would be more beneficial for the veterans than part-time help.
So we'll knock that out, that's what I'm questioning. This is what you requested.
So is that matching up, Penny, to what she has at our page?
Well, Rick gave us out of his book.
Okay.
So, office supplies didn't change, ceremonial supplies did not change. Right,
Yeah, no, I
4,000. So there, the difference, it says, there's a zero, right? Okay, and then your telephone, you've got 800.
Oh, I have 585.
Yeah, the 585. So that should have been taken out of postage because it was another form of communication. Because I'm doing a lot of stuff.
Is that a cell phone?
The 585, yes, yes. Because I'm doing majority of the work electronically now versus snail mail. Let's see.
Is it like a department cell phone or stipend or?
Department. It's a department phone. It was Misty Hess's, and then she found it easier to operate just off her personal phone, so they wound up giving me that phone. Okay. And so.
What do you guys have under burial for soldiers?
16,300.
And that's what we're asking for next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you have nothing on flags.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I need to keep that in there.
So ours, what she has here shows 2,500 on, well, not for that adopted, but just not requested. So she needs the 2,500 back on flags.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see.
So what is the burial? I mean, what does that entail?
They're in tournament.
There, okay, so that's the physical?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I've noticed on the location budget, we'd ask for those as well to see what was being currently done this year. It doesn't look like anything's been spent out of there. Are they not sending those in?
Out of which one, I'm sorry?
The burial.
The burial one, I have 2 right now in process. And so this is my first time filing those types of forms. So my boss from the state is going to be here tomorrow. And then he's going to walk me through that process.
Okay.
But the one thing, because when I have asked, how much is allotted per veteran, because I haven't been able to find any paperwork on, do we not exceed a certain amount? I haven't been able to find any documentation with that, so I was going to call Park County, Fountain County, and some of the smaller rural counties like we are, and see how they do that. And then I was going to, take it up the food chain from there, whether it's, the auditor, who I need to report this to, on what kind of operating procedure we want to implement, so we have something to go by. And then even if it is me making a form up to have be filled out for this line item, then I will make a form up, whatever that may be, with the needed information. That way we have a record to cover rear ends.
I'm pretty sure that there was a form in the past that got turned in on that.
Okay.
And it was through the actual funeral home.
Okay.
So with you and the funeral home, it was kind of a combination thing.
Well, yeah, because I
thought it was $100.
Well, because
but
there's
I don't
changes.
recall.
There is Senate
Okay.
Bill 433 that has
Okay.
implemented changes
Changes,
across
okay.
the state and the county on how stuff is done now.
Okay.
And so I want to make sure whatever we implement is the most current and up-to-date operating
And
procedure.
you'll know that tomorrow after you meet with the state?
Yes, yep. So.
So did you change the flags back to the 2,500?
Yes.
And what other one did we have zero? Oh, we don't care about part-time.
Right.
Is part-time wrong then? The request for 60,000 is not right?
Well, a vehicle would be more beneficial for the veterans.
But I mean, it's not in the budgets, is it?
No, I don't need the part-time. The vehicle would be more beneficial than part-time
Does
help.
that need to be added, or is the request?
It would have to be added,
I mean,
yeah.
you can't just say,
So-
yeah, use it for that.
The commissioners have looked at doing the enterprise fleet for the highway, sheriff, and then 3 vehicles, 1 for veterans and 2 for the prosecutor. Which the last email I got was last Monday.
Just those 3 vehicles for
Mhm.
like assessor, no, or?
No, the assessor was on, I think she wants to keep what she has, last I knew. Because typically we just keep the vehicles, right now we don't rotate them a lot. I have an Equinox option with the all-wheel drive would be $7,225 a year. Without the all-wheel drive, it would be $6,790. That's not including any maintenance. Well, I don't know, it doesn't. He talked about putting the maintenance in there, but it definitely doesn't have the fuel or the insurance. Because the original quote I got before that was an Equinox, the annual lease, the maintenance budget, which we basically pay Enterprise a monthly budget for the maintenance, and then if something came up, they would take care of it. Enterprise estimated the fuel budget based on average numbers of miles driven and gas cost and insurance for a total budget of just under $8,400.
Just for
For the veterans vehicle. And I have copy, like, if you want anyone else, we can copy that. But that lease is lower than this, so I'm wondering if he included the maintenance on that lease. If it's, let me see.
It was maintenance and insurance
Well,
and gas?
8,400, yes.
Do you say you had a cell phone now that was one of the commissioners? They get like a separate phone?
No, she's just using her personal phone for everything instead of having 2 separate phones.
That's what I mean. I mean, do the commissioners get like a cell phone, county cell phone?
They can, but they don't. I mean, I don't believe any of the 3 do as
So
of
like,
now.
is this a contract then that you have assumed the contract? Is that right?
Yeah, and they're paying the bill every month, and so I just reimburse the general fund from my account for the cell phone, because that work cell phone was suggested by the Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I just see it, I've understood. So the commissioners are,
It's probably
that gets
being taken
paid
out
out
of Commissioner's Court right now, I would assume.
okay.
So,
I just didn't know if they had a specific line item in
In
theirs for.
Commissioners, usually, most all the cell phones that are coming out of 1,000 fund, I don't think the prosecutors come out unless things have changed. Prosecutors didn't, probation didn't, they paid their own. A few of the 1,000 funds had their own cell phone line items, but a lot of them were also just
Well,
included in the Commissioner's Court
And I'm
budget.
asking because if it's possible to reduce that by the amount
Yeah,
she needs, then she
right.
doesn't have to reduce postage,
Right.
which may be something she needs, so it doesn't affect.
Right,
Because right now, they're having to come up with money and postage to pay for the cell phone. If the other account's not adjusted, then they've got an extra $585 for next year for something else. I'm just,
or leave it in the Commissioner's Court and not put it in here, it's what, the general fund.
yeah,
It doesn't have to come out of her.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, we're safe, they're moving shelves
Rob, pay
here,
her
but
PayPal.
not elsewhere where it's really
well,
coming out.
we'll just have to either add it here or Commissioner's
Yeah.
Court, because it's a new phone for 2025 that wouldn't even. I know we talked before about the vehicle, and you had mentioned maybe taking some of your other funds, like your training and conferences, you do a lot of those online, to move that to your travel budget.
Yes.
And then, so you would have 2,000 in travel. Do you expect any need for training and conference money?
Yes, there is a training coming up next month, because majority of my trainings are free, but this one, of course, is not. But I'm doing trainings, with our suicide rate here in Vermilion County. I am doing more mental health training and also SAFE training, which is suicide prevention. And I have, there's not too many other female veteran service officers in this area especially, so I get an influx of female veterans especially who are victims of MST, so I am taking extra training in MST as well to help those veterans also.
So how much do you anticipate that you really need in that account?
I don't know. I can get numbers because I can get signed up, or like go to register and see how much stuff, the ones that do cost something. But I do the free ones when I can. But there are some of them that are very specific.
Because in order to equip, like if we did look at the lease option for a vehicle, I guess where can we take money that you're not using in other places to put that towards the travel?
Mm-hmm.
Is what?
Yep. And then also, I had put in there, to create a new line item, but it was going to be through contributions because the American Legions here in the county, we are selling 50/50 raffle tickets to help raise money for veterans specifically in this county to help out with transportation costs. If I have veterans who need to go away for rehab, but we don't have anybody to watch their animals, and so that would help pay, for services so that they can get the help they need. Right now, there is a 3-to-1 grant going on with Eli Lilly, so I'm hoping to, get these tickets sold pretty quickly, and then I can take that money from our half of the 50/50 and invest it in this 3-to-1 matching grant with Lilly, and be able to triple our money and get that, and that will help pay for services, but hopefully that will help offset the cost of a vehicle also.
How much is the grant?
It's 3-to-1, so the 50/50, 50% goes back to the community, so that's 5,000 in a drawing, different drawings, and so 5,000, so with Eli Lilly, so if I put in 5,000, they'll match it for 15,000, so that's 20,000.
Okay, so it's whatever you put in it's not a set amount.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, it's 3-to-1.
Okay.
And so that would, and because I just found another van that is sitting in a Legion in their garage, not being used here in the county also. So between, a van possibly, and then also, giving money to Park County to help pay for our third of the van over in Park County, would we be able to give them a check, but then also we have extra money set back. And if we can even do, a 50/50 drawing every year, and if I can get it timed to where, Eli Lilly's gonna do this every year, and if it's the same window, then, I'll do fundraising to have that 3-in-1 matching grant every fall. That way we do have extra money to, rely on also, and not all taxpayer money.
Bless you.
Back under burial of soldiers. In 2023 actual, we spent 9,200. In 2024, we expended 600. I'm not sure what we spent in 2025.
Well, that's me.
So,
Part of that is inaccurate because when I was in there was a lot of backlog.
Okay.
It was like they did not submit the diverters or
Right.
I don't know all the funeral homes around here. It's just one at the top of my head. They didn't submit their paperwork.
Okay.
And I know that it's very imperative that they fill that paperwork out and turn it in on time. So, I think we made up like 2 years back. And they weren't really keen on doing that. but we did it.
They just didn't know how to do it?
I
or-
don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So,
But we fixed it, so it should be.
so budgeting 16,000, is that enough or is that too much?
It should be.
In '23, we
Yeah.
had $9,200.
Right, $9,200.
Yeah, it should be.
We should, it should,
We
I
are
was,
losing a lot of veterans.
I am, I have lost 6 this year and they've all been Vietnam vets.
And if they've changed the amount, I don't know. I know at one time it was $100, but
Yep, like I said, boss man from the State's coming tomorrow, so I'll be able to pick his brain on everything also and see what the state recommendation was as well and
Okay.
see.
So you'll get back to us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
The federal and state update, it was $800. You had mentioned that one also could maybe be reduced down to.
Yep. Actually, that is available online now, so, it's 2 books about yay thick, and it covers, anything from, it's mainly case law reviews for VA claims. And so when a veteran is denied benefits, that is where, I start going through that book and looking for cases that are similar to the veteran that I have now, and then that's where I start citing cases, and
So do you need any money left in that since they're online?
actually that can be reallocated to a different fund.
Okay. The ceremony supplies, do you think that, I'm just trying to find different ways if you're just looking, interested in that lease payment where we can pull money to help cover that.
Yep. Okay, and then you said ceremony supplies.
she spent $3,000 so far this year.
Okay,
But, and also with that,
probably not that one.
I did buy, bags for after, get done for a casing bag after funerals and stuff to put the shells in to give to the family of the veteran after our 21 gun salutes. And then also, I did get some this flag display cases for the veteran. When we present the flag, the family is given a holder to put the flag in.
So we put back the 2,500 for veterans flags, but
We have,
it says 600 and some has been spent this year, and then in '23 we spent $250. So is that one that could possibly reduce some?
and reallocated.
Yeah.
Yes, yep. Because I think I have like one more order I need to submit, and it is for the small flags during the Veterans Day program, the elementary schools in the county. But as I've been cleaning stuff out here in the office and at the post, I have found we'll probably be good on flags for a little bit, so, because I have found another room I didn't know I had, so, and there was flags in that, so.
I have a note from last year, it said entry of 40 new veterans. I'm working on 60 additional. So I also had a number of 914 men and 43 women. Do you have any idea what we're looking like as far as numbers?
I have, when I started, I had right around 10 active files. Now I am over 91 active files, and that is not that's not counting the files that are in the cabinets.
Okay.
And that is something I've also started working on. The state has requested that all of our paper files be put on digital.
Sure.
And so I'm in the process of doing that as well as other stuff.
I know Rick and I were at the meeting we were at, but do you want to take time to like explain why you want a vehicle, like what you're doing, like with it?
Well,
So everyone, I mean,
yeah.
because you're making the home visits and things like that, correct?
Yes, I'm doing home visits. When I first started, it was myself, my boss from the state, the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs, and then also Commissioner Donovan. And we sat down together. The state made the recommendations to RJ about what was coming down the pipeline in regards to, it's Senate Bill 433. And so what that does, it's consistency across the board where the county veteran service officers are concerned. We will all have the same training. So really that's what it is, you know, because the training has been so hit and miss in years past. And so we have to use the computers now, which was not being done before here. So we are, you know, I'm, you know, using the computer, but they allowed me to have the trade in my desktop for a laptop. So now I can make home visits. We have a lot of homebound veterans. And then also starting this month, I will work 1 day a month out of the City of Clinton City Hall. And so also I have to take veterans to doctor's appointments, whether it's Indy, because Thrive West Central does not travel to Indianapolis, and the van that Park County has, it's in use a lot. So I was able to get one of our veterans scheduled for 2 trips coming up next week. So it would be consistency. I have veterans who miss appointments because they don't have a ride. When the VA schedules these appointments, they don't care what distance it is. They will schedule, you know, a veteran in Carmel for a hearing test, knowing we have one over in, you know, Danville, Illinois. So this would just help, you know, have the veterans, you know, more connected to their community. I go out every Friday and I help a homebound veteran out. Whether, you know, it's pulling weeds, weed eating, I've done some plumbing, I've done some duct work, just to help these veterans out and, you know, give back to them, but doing a buddy check on them, checking in on them mentally, because when I'm like, you know, hey, how you doing? You know, they're like, fine, you know, and I'll look at them, I'm like, okay, you're not fine, so tell me what's going on. So then, you know, that can turn into a 4-hour visit easily. I've had times, you know, where I've spent 10 hours with one veteran. And so my biggest thing, you know, when I first started was, you know, I called up my boss from the state and I was like, I only seen one veteran today, you know, what am I gonna do? And he was like, you're doing your job. He goes, if you see one veteran a day, he goes, or if you see 10. It's not based on the numbers, it is based on the quality of care you are giving them. So that is my biggest thing, and that is one thing I do tell the veterans, is because I will get their service treatment records, I get their private treatment records, and some of these veterans, their medical files are 700-800 pages long, and I go through it page by page, line item by line item, and that's where I look for stuff. I make sure, you know, if they're ECFGs, you know, that'll tell me, you know, what kind of kidney function they have. And if it's lower than normal, then, you know, we're gonna file a claim on like chronic kidney disease. So it is very time consuming, but also this, you know, attention to details is where it comes in. So it's not the number, it's the quality of care. And so that is one thing I'm proud of.
Ask her how many dogs dogs have.
Yeah, I had 11 this summer, so, for people, so.
Because they don't have anyone to take care of their animals when they go in for treatment.
Yeah, so my husband told me no more, when we reached 11, so.
Wow.
But yeah, just, you know, that big, there are so many things we need in this county because we have no local resources for veterans. The closest veterans court we have is in Vigo County, but the one thing I will say is when I email the judge or the prosecutor, one, I want to make sure I stay in my lane, But then also, you know, they are very receptive to, you know, what I have to say from, you know, if the person who's in trouble, you know, is a veteran, they are willing and open to listen to, you know, what I have encountered with them and or their family. So like Veterans Court, I think, you know, we're okay on, but like social worker, there are just, I'm working with a farm right now on becoming a local resource for veterans, to do like, cause they have horses, so like equine therapy and all of that stuff. So, I'm making a major initiative, you know, for the mental health aspect for the veterans here in this county.
Good job.
You're good. You guys have any more questions for her?
I don't. Before you ever get comfortable.
I just thought, you know, when we sit down.
Thank you for all you've been doing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you know, no, like I said, I apologize.
It's okay.
I didn't
No
realize.
apologies necessary. No apologies needed.
We log on, you know, I just thought, you
good.
know, big round table or something.
You're good. Maybe
It's
sometimes
kind of a
easier.
square here.
Yeah. No, but I'd had, you know, because since, you know, and I did run a report, and I ran it from January 31st, you know, up until the present, which was last week sometime, and we've had an influx now of over $400,000 of benefits paid into this county since the beginning of the year with new veterans and new claims, and I've got a couple of veterans that have received back pay in the amount of tens to twenties of thousands of dollars. So, you know, and the gentleman, you know, my boss with the state, you know, he called me last week as well, you know, to set up, you know, for my 6-month review tomorrow. But he said that Vermilion County has never seen the numbers. We've never put numbers up like we have been in the last 6 months, so.
And that's all due to you.
I foresee a good review.
But, hopefully, I'm still learning, and I will admit, you know, my Vietnam vets, they, you know, all veterans, but, you know, I'm making sure, you know, our Vietnam veterans are being taken care of, because they hold a special place for me, so.
They're getting older too. My dad's a Vietnam veteran, so it's.
Yeah, and I've had so many new Vietnam vets come in to file claims and everything. But, you know, when I call them, you know, if I'm going through their file, you know, and I'll call them, you know, 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you know, just to tell them thank you for your service, because I've been reading their, you know, after action reports of what they faced, you know, when they were, you know, overseas and everything, and when they cry on the phone, you know, and they tell me thank you for calling them, you know, even if they were in bed sometimes, you know, just, you know, they tell me thank you, and then I just, you know, and I just tell them, you know, I hope their kids know, you know, their stories, and the sad part is a lot of their kids don't want to hear the stories. So anytime I get a chance to document their stories, I do as well. So, but yeah, that is
So
all I have.
you said you had your meeting tomorrow with the state.
Yes.
Okay, after that, could you let us know the updates on the reimbursements on that?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
then, let me see, where I put that number. The training and conferences, like you'll get us like what you think you'll need for each year on that.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
I appreciate
service.
it.
Oh, no, thank you, you guys.
You're good.
Yeah.
Dismissed.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Scott, you got a question? Well, I was gonna ask you something before you go to lunch.
Uh-huh.
I sent you guys an email, the solid waste budget got messed up advertising it. It's really the LGS fault because they had nobody who had the authority to edit it. So, we didn't realize that until kept scrambling around trying to figure out who was getting these emails, and turns out no one. So, we need to have a special meeting sometime towards the end of September or very early in October for that week there, to do a public hearing on the solid waste budget, which will take about 35 seconds of your time. But
If you talk slow.
I also, Mrs. Bishop, she's from the Vermillion County Library. She also contacted us about doing an additional appropriation, but it was too late to get it in the paper. So if you're gonna be meeting anyway, I thought you might want to kill two birds with one stone, because apparently they have some HVAC issues that are in need of repair sooner rather than later. Our meeting in October is not gonna be till late. So she emailed me while I was sitting here today, and I said, well, just come over and maybe we can find it. We're about to go to lunch, so maybe we can find time.
Heine Mayhem.
What is it, how do you spell
If you want to, Misty, just tell me.
INEE.
I-N-E-E, okay.
Not to change the subject, but Vigo County's got a VA vehicle, it's the Ford Explorer, and they had a wrap put on the vehicle, like a really neat
So it looks-
looking.
It's super cool.
Yeah, they got a van and a wrap that's kind of got their name and logo, so it's kind of high vis. It's pretty neat.
Good, how are you?
Hi, as Scott said, the library, well, earlier this month, my library board would like to ask for an additional appropriation, but it will be with money that we have on hand. We currently have no working HVAC in the library. So this summer, we used 3 window air conditioners to cool the upstairs, which was fine for the upstairs, but we have the gymnasium. And with it not having any HVAC, it's very moldy, it stinks, which is a very large part of our programming for the library. We use that space for all of our programming. We've had Rick do Santa at the library, but this summer I had to move most of it outside or upstairs, which we just can't accommodate that many people. This has been the largest summer reading that we've had since COVID. I mean, we were just packed with people. So the additional appropriation amount, like I said, we have money on hand. We just have to ask to use the money. So it will be $371,030. We have currently, with me, in all of our funds, we have $1.3 million. And so we are wanting to spend that down, but put it back into our building. The HVAC hasn't been updated since they did the renovation in 2003. So it's over 20 years old, and we've just been band-aiding it for years. I've worked there for 14 years and it's not worked properly this entire time. So we are actually gonna go, if we get approved with mini splits, there will be 23 mini splits upstairs, 15 downstairs, and we can zone them off. So if we're in a certain space, we can set that HVAC to what we need at the time. If we don't need it, it does have humidity controls, which is what that building needs really, really bad. Like this summer, like I said, with no HVAC downstairs, I was seeing mold on tables. I was seeing water come up through the floors. And so we want to, that's a 100-year-old building we want to keep in the community and keep people coming back. Like, I don't want people to get sick from coming into the library. And I don't want to see the numbers for summer reading dwindle because they can't come in because it smells and it does smell. Or they're getting sick. So
How soon can the HVAC get replaced once we get the?
I'm sorry.
How soon can they get in to fix it?
As soon as I can get them to say, yes, we have the go ahead, they said give them about a month. So I didn't want to wait until the October 20th meeting because that's 6 weeks out, and then we're in the middle of winter.
Has it been advertised at all?
No, it was too late by the time.
Okay, so it didn't.
So, yeah, that was I think it was like the 7th or something.
Yeah, my
6th or
board
7th
meeting
when-
was the 4th, and I contacted
So couldn't
Scott
get it-
on Friday, and it just kind of.
Okay.
And then you're not meeting until a little later in October, and since you were gonna have to have a special meeting anyway to do this solid waste thing, I sort of invited her to interject her.
I know we can't formally vote on it, but I don't have a problem doing your appropriation. You obviously need that. You're gonna end up with more problems if you don't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
We need to
it's a
set we're looking
blessing
at setting
if you want to
meeting now.
start,
Yeah, I was hoping we
you
just,
know,
set the
while
meeting.
everyone's
that way you
here, we
can
could-
start planning, but we
Right.
can't formally do it until,
Cause you would need time to get it advertised.
Right, which I could get that out to Tribune Star, you know.
Is
this
there a
week.
contractor selected, or have you already
It's,
gone through?
Air Serv of Terre Haute is who we went with. We had 3 different quotes from Johnson Control, Air Serv of Terre Haute, and Verigy, and Verigy came in at like 1.5 million, and then Johnson Control, we've been using them, but it's just, like, we'll just repair what you have. Well, I don't wanna repair what we have,
'Cause it wasn't
because
working
that's
right.
what we've been doing, and it's failing, so.
But is this something, Scott, that has to be like a public bid or design or something? Huh?
I don't know.
Well,
It's being fixed. I mean, it may not if it's an
We
emergency
quoted
situation.
it out for
Yeah.
3 different people, because we knew it
Repair-
was gonna
there is
be
an
so
allowance
high.
for repairs and replacements, so maybe it would fall under that,
Yeah,
you know.
I'm just making sure that.
Why not Clinton contractors?
I'm sorry,
Why not somebody from Clinton?
I have tried, and our building is too large. So I've talked to Layton's, I've talked to, Andrews, I've talked to Lincecum, and everybody, even Air Serv, is having trouble keeping people. So he's gonna have to hire people out to actually come do this.
Is
So,
that suggestion to use the mini splits something that they recommended, or was it something that the library board wanted to try?
and Air Serv, well, that's what Air Serv specializes in. But we have been working, I have Robert Henry on my library board, and his nephew, and I think it's his nephew's son, they do HVAC, and they recommended mini splits, just because
But
it's
there's
such.
like individual units controlled by one control. like
They
a
can
master.
be controlled by one unit, or one control, or they can be controlled individually.
I think the real asset there is the moisture.
Yes.
They'll even if they're not working AC or heat, they'll still control the moisture.
Yes, and they'll be way more efficient than we have currently, what are they called? The glycol, like a glycol loop. And so, and we have, let's see, 15 units, and currently only, if I wanted to try to use them, like 2 work. And we've replaced some, and they cost between $20,000 and $40,000 a piece.
Looks like the earliest, if they could get it in the paper by Wednesday, I assume they're not gonna get it in tomorrow's.
Right.
So the earliest would be Wednesday. So the earliest meeting would be the 29th of September.
Did you get in that fast?
Yeah. I'll go back and do it, like, send it off to them.
I mean, it's up to you guys, I mean, it's your meeting schedules.
I'd like to be able to get it done
Yeah.
first. So she
Can
can
she advise the contractor to order materials, get that started? I mean,
I
they're
mean-
gonna want a
Somebody
lead on
needs.
that.
Yeah.
I would give her my blessing. I don't know if anybody else.
It's up to the- I mean, tell the contractor.
Right.
the
Yeah, I mean-
ink is
The
that-
money's coming.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't
Have it
imagine the
adopted.
library.
Because you're gonna
not
end up
having
with a
heat
huge
or-
I'm
project
in
costing way
favor
more
of
than that if you don't. But we just can't formally like
This
approve it
is-
for you, but you.
Right, well, I mean, to
Be
get
my-
Call the
things started,
contractor.
they
Until the
asked
20th
that I
October
have,
either, so it's like
Yeah.
a long time.
to get things started, they asked that I put like 177,000 up front, which we could probably just go ahead and put that up front, and then that way they can start
And then-
ordering the material, and then,
Reimburse your other funds when
Yeah.
you get the additional.
It would not, this is not gonna need to be a very long meeting. The only things that we would have to do would be the solid waste.
So
Public
the
hearing
29th
and a public
then?
hearing on the additional appropriation for the library.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be in the evening, it could be at whatever.
It's 10 days, so.
Okay, do we have at least 4 people available to meet on the 29th? Yeah,
Whatever's necessary.
okay.
I'm iffy.
Iffy. So Jeff,
29.
29th, would you be available?
It's Monday.
Well,
Is it evening or day?
whatever.
whichever, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just down the road, so I
Guess-
come up.
I'll make myself available.
Okay,
I may be traveling, so.
okay. We got 2 travelers?
I'm traveling.
Did they call in?
Can I vote by phone?
No, I don't
Can't
think so.
vote.
It's okay. We'll have at least 4 then, I think. What time do you need it to be able to be here?
I'm
Just let me know.
Better way.
I-
Don't you work during the day?
Not really.
Scratch that from the video.
No, he just takes his vacation and stuff.
Oh, well.
He
No,
likes us that much.
I'll use whatever, if it needs to be at 1 o'clock, I'll use vacation time or what, I've got the time,
I
so.
can do two, I think. If I know what time it is.
What's better so you don't have to take vacation time?
I don't mind doing it, honestly, to whatever, and go home early then.
Do two, then he can work till noon and take the rest
I've
of
got
the
lots
working
of
on
stuff I need to
retirement.
do. I'm actually gonna be taking some vacation time this fall anyway, so it's not gonna hurt. I mean, whatever needs done, I'll do.
For me, it'd either be early or later, so I don't have to go Terre Haute the office and come here and then go back to Terre Haute. So I'd either come here and then go, or go there and come in at noon or 1 or something. I'm open on any of that.
I could do the mornings, need be.
I mean, you wanna do, is 2 o'clock too early
Mm-mm.
for being late?
Oh,
Do 2 o'clock? Is that okay? That way the courthouse is still open and we
yeah,
don't have
And then you wouldn't have to go back to Terre Haute?
yeah.
You wouldn't? Okay.
29th at 2, in case I can't be here.
Got that? You'll take care of the advertising?
I will take care of the
Okay.
advertising.
She'll
I
take care of the
appreciate it.
advertising for the additional, but.
For the additional, we'll do the solid waste thing. It doesn't have to go in the paper, it just has to go on.
on the
Gateway.
board.
As soon as we can figure out who can get in there and unlock it.
2 o'clock.
It's still not
Is that
enough.
okay?
I don't know, I haven't tried it, it was kind of superfluous at that point.
I mean, we could push it back. I mean, 2's okay, Neil?
She's fine with me.
I put 2 o'clock in my calendar, so yeah.
Checking. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Let's
Thank
give
you
us
so
29.
much. Thank you.
Thank
you.
We're excited to have some heat this winter.
Yeah.
I bet.
Thank you again.
No problem. Okay, well, it's not lunchtime, right?
So, before we go to lunch,
Yes.
I've been on the phone, so since the veterans, they, moved up, everybody else is bumped up now.
Okay,
So we should start at 1, 1:15, 1:30, 1:45, then be done.
Thank you.
okay, awesome, thanks.
Yep,
Are they good with that?
yes, I've spoken to all of them.
I thought the judge was in court or something until
Well-
12:15.
My contact upstairs talked to the judge.
So they just bumped each other's
Yeah.
spots. Okay,
Moved up one,
that works. Okay, awesome.
make the day a little faster.
Okay.
All right, we'll adjourn for lunch.